and we will then be calling out from the class just like we did last time. So we'll have you be working in groups and help each other answer the cases. And I won't be posting the answers to the cases, so you need to be here. Because posting the answers doesn't work you through the thought process. And that's what we're trying to teach, is the thought process, because you'll be starting rotations soon. So I think seizures are fascinating. I spent 2 years doing research and fellowship in that area, and they exponentially increased the number of drugs from when I was in school. I only had the first generation drugs, and now you have second and third generation drugs. And I'm not asking you to learn all of them, I'm just asking you to learn the ones that are in the first choice algorithms. But that by no means affects our treatment choices, because when you work for patients that have refractory seizures, you often have to go through many different kinds than the first choice ones. So that reference will be helpful for you. So seizures are an abnormal electrical discharge of neurons in your cerebral cortex. And epilepsy is 2 or more unprovoked seizures. If you have 2 or more unprovoked seizures in at least 24 hours, it's considered epilepsy. So a number of people will have an isolated seizure and never have one again. And that is important to realize, because we're trying to make decisions whether we're going to put people on long-term epilepsy therapy or not. And the treatment protocol for treating the first seizure has varied over the years. What the seizure looks like depends what part of the brain is affected. So just think of anything that the brain can do normally, it can do abnormally in the form of a seizure. So it can affect just moving your right arm, just affect your thinking processes, hallucination, anything it do normally. And it's the doctor's job to differentiate the seizure type and whether or not it's comorbid with any psychiatric causes. Because sometimes people can have pseudo-seizures in behavioral health. They have behavioral health problems, and it may manifest in fake seizures. So we have a diagnostic workup for that. About 8 to 10% of the population will have at least one seizure. So at least 2 people of your class will have had a seizure or will in the future. And 23 to 80% have a second seizure of those have a seizure within 5 years. About 1 to 3% of the population has epilepsy. And it has a profound effect on quality of life and productivity. So 10% of nursing home patients are on epilepsy drugs, either for behavioral health reasons or for epilepsy. And they have a lot of side effects, a lot of drug interactions, and a lot of long-term effects that need to be monitored. We don't really know what causes seizures. There may be a genetic predisposition, there may be structural damages to the brain, such as tumors, birth injury, post-trauma injuries, surgeries, vascular malformations, things that will be picked up on MRI testing. We could have degenerative CNS diseases, infections. We can be aggravated by certain drugs or withdrawal from drugs, and exposure to toxins, metabolic changes in the body, or fever. So the mechanism of a seizure is often related to the cell membranes being unstable, and this then leads to neurons misfiring, and these misfiring neurons recruit more neurons to misfire. And this then leads to seizure spread. And so an abnormal neuron firing can be due to a variety of reasons. It could be